Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name's Andrew, and for the last 10 years or so, I've had the fascinating job of bringing artificial intelligence into the hotel world. It's truly a pleasure to be with you all today.
So, a really warm welcome to all of you, the students of the Europe Hotel School. I am absolutely thrilled to be here because we're going to talk about something that's not just theory, it's something that will fundamentally shape how you build your teams and, honestly, how you'll build your own careers. We're talking about AI in recruitment. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the big problem, the subjective challenge of recruitment. Then we'll see how AI offers an objective analysis. We'll get into exactly how these assessments work, talk about measuring the quality of hire, and wrap up with how to prove the return on investment. Let's get started. All right, first up, recruitment's subjective challenge. For as long as I can remember, the traditional first interview has been, well, a bit of a weak link in how we hire people. I mean, just think about it for a second. We've all seen it happen, right? A manager discovers a candidate went to the same school or they both love sailing, and suddenly there's this connection. That little spark can, without anyone even realizing it, start to overshadow another candidate's actual skills or experience. And when that happens, we're not hiring based on merit anymore. We're hiring based on gut feel. And that can really weaken a team. So the big question is, how do we get around that? How do we strip out that bias? Well, that's where we bring in a more scientific, more objective way of looking at talent. And this is exactly where technology comes into play. Here at the Europe Hotel School London, one of the platforms we really believe in is called HireVue. Now, what makes this tool so interesting is that it's a blend of two pretty powerful things. It takes industrial organizational psychology, which is just a fancy way of saying the science of how people behave at work, and it merges that with AI. The result? A way to evaluate candidates that's based on data, not just feelings. Okay, so how does this thing actually work? Let's take a look under the hood. It's all about a structured process that takes candidate answers and turns them into a score based on real data. It's actually pretty straightforward. First off, to make sure everything's fair, every single person gets the exact same questions, no exceptions. Next, instead of a stressful live interview, you get to record your answers whenever it works for you. It's called an on-demand interview. A lot less pressure, right? And then, this is the cool part. The AI analyzes the recording. And it's not just looking at what you say, but also the subtle patterns in behaviors and how you say it. So you're probably wondering, what is the AI actually looking for? Well, it's trained to spot what we call competency markers. Think of these as the building blocks of success in our industry. Things like emotional intelligence, how resilient you are under pressure, your problem-solving skills. These are the things that are really, really hard for a person to accurately judge in a short 30-minute interview. And this is really important. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. The whole assessment is tailored to the job. So for a guest service agent, the AI is looking for things like empathy and active listening. Makes sense, right? But if you're going for a revenue analyst position, the AI shifts its focus. It's now looking for logical reasoning. The system is smart enough to know what matters for each specific role. So what happens with all this data? The platform crunches it all down into one simple number, a fit score. This ranks all the candidates based only on how their behaviors match what's needed for the job. It's about giving everyone an equal, totally unbiased shot. Oh, and it's not all just talking. There are also these cool game-based assessments thrown in, which are a much more fun way to test things like cognitive ability. Okay, this technology sounds impressive, but does it actually work in the real world? Does it make a difference to the business? Absolutely. And we measure that impact with one really important metric. And that metric is called quality of hire. It's simple, really. What we're seeing is that when hotels use these tools, the people they bring on board are, first, better at their jobs, and second, they tend to stay with the company longer. That's huge. It cuts down on the massive cost of employee turnover and helps build those solid, reliable teams that every great hotel needs. Which brings us to the final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle for any leader, proving the return on investment. You always have to show how this stuff pays for itself. See, because this whole process is built on hard data, it completely changes the conversation that HR can have with hotel owners. We're no longer just talking about good feelings about candidates. We can walk in with charts and numbers and show, without a doubt, that AI-assisted hiring delivers a much higher return on investment. And it's all driven by those two things we just talked about, lower turnover and better employee performance. So I want to leave you with a final thought, a question, really. As you prepare to be the next leaders in this industry, this technology isn't some far-off future thing. It's going to be a standard part of your world, whether you're hiring someone or getting hired yourself. So my question is this: how are you going to prepare to show off your unique skills and talents when it's just you and an AI? Something to think about. Thank you very much for your time.